How y'all doing this evening? My no more people pleasing family. It's good to see y'all this evening. It's late. We might have some night owls up, might catch this, but we got some nuggets we want to share. I'm watching my time. I think we got some good stuff for today. I try to make sure that I take time to give you some good nuggets that's going to be helpful. I've been talking to some of y'all throughout the week, and like, hey, it's interesting how much many of us have in common. And I just wanted to let you know we got some things planned to try to change the group up a little bit, but I've got so much going on. I'm just trying to narrow things down to get that done. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna get that going, God willing. But as for right now, we do have a routine, and we're going to get right on into it tonight. And what we're talking about tonight is a very important topic, I believe. Um, and the topic of discussion for tonight is how to overcome the fear of losing relationships. How to overcome the fear of losing relationships. Are there is there somebody out there that can say, hey, yeah, I have a fear of losing relationships? Anybody out there that has that fear? And so we'll do all kinds of things, right, in order to avoid that possibility of losing a relationship. And some of the things that we do kind of make us feel awful. Some of the decisions that we make us feel awful. We will make decisions to be united with individuals that we know we had no business being with. We will do things for people who we know had no business, you know, they shouldn't have gotten our time, and they shouldn't have gotten they just shouldn't have been able to get what we gave them. I'm running out of words, right? And so we've all been there, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And so I want to give you some tips that's going to help you to feel as though maybe that you can overcome this fear. And um part of I'm gonna hit you right off the bat, right? Part of the reason why we have trouble, I'm trying to move through this. Okay, it's 11. Okay, part of the reason that we have this fear of losing relationships is because we need to work on changing, and I'm going to keep talking about this, keep on talking about it, because it's the primary thing. And let me get my speaker up here. I mean, my mic sounds nice. All right. And so how how we do how we need to do this is we need to change what we think about ourselves. We need to change what we think about ourselves. And I'm going to jump right on into it. Like real talk, what do you really think about you? How many of you all, and it's a lot of y'all, because there's a lot of people in this group that has significant levels of trauma, and trauma has the tendency to impact us in a way to where we often have a negative evaluation of ourselves. We can often be very critical, harshly critical. We can often take on the voice of the people who were really hard and rigid, with us. We have the tendency to do that. Um, uh, One thing that I'm learning as I practice more and more is that many of us who are people pleasers, who have codependency concerns, are many of us are perfectionists. Believe it or not. Many of us are perfectionists. We're going to talk about that one day. Why so? Because we've been in environments to where many times we had to, or we felt like that we had to please. And that may have started with the caregivers, and we monitored and watched what it is that will make them happy. And so we became masters of that, and that not helped us, but that developed a perfectionistic quality about us because we wanted to try so hard, or have tried so hard to please them, that we have consciously and unconsciously studied how to do that. And then that's gone into our day-to-day relationships. So real quick, I didn't want to spend that much time on that. We're already about 5 minutes in. I gotta move. So one of the things is that we have to change the way that we think about ourselves. And some of you don't even know how negatively you think of yourself, or you don't know that you think of yourself in a negative way. So real quick, I want you to do an activity. You won't have time to probably really do it now, but I want you to take 1 minute, all right, in silence when it's quiet. I want you to take just 1 minute, time yourself, and write down what you think about you. I want you to use as many one word expressions, or one word, give one word descriptions of what you think about yourself. And I want you to do that for 1 minute, and then stop. Okay. And so I don't want you blocking, thought stopping. I want whatever comes to your mind. If you really want this activity to work for you, I want you to just spit it out. Okay. But you're really going to be writing that on paper. So spit it out in your hand on the ink, and write it. Yeah, that thing. All right. So we have to change. And so this is going to help you to be able to identify really what you think about yourself. It's not 100%, but a lot of times it gets us in a certain direction to be able to identify that. So if it's negative, if it's positive, then if it's not positive, then we have a problem. If the things that you write down are not positive, then we have a serious problem, and we need to correct that, because that's our primary problem. Uh, So much of the people pleasing, so much of the fear of losing somebody is established because of what I think that you think. You don't know what they think. We honestly, what it's a saying that I used to use, but we're we obsess in trying to understand other people's thoughts. Okay. And they peep that. They look into that, and a lot of times are able to identify weakness, and they exploit it. We'll probably talk about a little bit about that. So when I change the way that I think about me, that's essential for reducing my fear. And we're going to talk about why. Work on, okay, this is another one. What we want to do is work on not developing relationships that we're not willing to walk away from. All right. We talking here. We talking. Real talk. I don't want you to start any more relationships that you're not willing to walk away from. And so even if you need to get into practice, maybe even starting a relationship with somebody that you don't think would be that significant, so that you can get into practice of, hey, if I don't like how they're treating me, then I need to stop this relationship. And I'm not saying that we just need to be cutting people off, because that could be a thing if you're already doing that, to where you have issues with abandonment. Some of y'all that have issues with abandonment, you'll just cut. You'll just escape relationship, or sabotage it, especially when it gets close, because unconsciously you got a fear that they're going to get rid of you first. And so you want to maintain some type of control, but that's not necessarily what we're talking about. Man, I'm trying to talk to some people out here. I kind of have a good understanding of this stuff. So some of y'all take note of that, because I'm gonna do an altar call, not for real. But so we want to work on not developing relationships that are not that we're not willing to walk away from, even and if we're being mistreated. So we've got to set it up that way that if you're mistreating me, I'm going to get the step in, or you're going to get the step in. One of us, we got to separate. Stop giving people the benefit of the doubt for mistreating you. This is essential. It's ways this all works and get me in a place where I don't have fear. Think about, how will I have fear of losing a relationship if I'm willing to walk away from it if you're mistreating me? It's essential. Okay. Some of us, we just got to be okay with people not being okay with you. And I think that's a struggle for a lot of us. Because we think that if somebody is not okay with us, it's an indictment on our character. And then we get in the mode. We get in the mode of wanting to try to some way prove that this is not so. Man, it's so empowering when you just don't give a darn about what they think. I don't even care about what you think about me. How about that? That's attractive, by the way. Okay, not in an arrogant way, but in a way that, like, if you're not feeding positive into me, what do I want to sit here listening to you for about what you don't like about me? So be okay with not being okay with be okay with people not being okay with you. Okay, so when you are okay with people not being okay with you, many times that draws less criticisms in your inner circle. You know why? Because they you develop a disposition to help people to understand that you're not trying to hear it anyway. See, when people know that their criticisms impact you and they bother you and they affect you, then they use that to manipulate and control you. Especially narcissists like to do that, and they're really clever with it. They just do it by second nature. But when you have the attitude and disposition that there's not it's not a lot that you can do to me. It's only certain people that can really move me, and you're not one of them. When I have a solid baseline and a belief about who I am, then that's hard to shake, even when you're with the most intimate people. I'm talking about like spouses. You need to be connected, but you got to have a foundation about yourself to understand what your value is, that no matter what is being told to you in your relationship, that you don't just take that, because you know you're a child of God and you know what you represent. So you don't have to prove nothing to anybody. Right? Okay. So you want to be to that point. That's an important thing. You want to have many of us have fear of abandonment. Okay. How many of y'all have fear of abandonment out there? Anybody have fear of abandonment? Fear of someone leaving me. Like we're preoccupied with that someone might leave me or someone might not like me. Okay. My time is going to be up in 24 ish. Okay. So we have a fear in someone leaving us. And guess what? If you have a fear of someone leaving you, they probably will. Yeah. If you have a fear of someone leaving you, they probably will. Think back on your relationships. You see what I'm saying? Think back on your relationship. Like some of y'all think that you have these different ideations because you're just crazy. And I want to tell you, you're not crazy. Okay. Um, but the reason why some of you have a fear of certain people leaving you, because they wasn't any good to begin with, and they're leavers. They're the kind of people that are going to leave you. That's what they do. And you're taking it personal, but they were abandoning people and not taking care of their responsibilities and lying and cheating before you met them. Okay. And so don't take it personal because they did the same thing to you. That's who they are. All right. And so we have this fear. And so I want to submit that what we focus on grows. If you continue to have a fear about people leaving you, they will leave you. Okay. But when you do the work to understand and change that way of thinking, then people stay. Okay. They stay a lot longer, at least. So if you have a fear of them leaving, they probably will. Or if they don't leave, then you're going to be a slave in the relationship. Who wants to be a slave in a relationship? Who wants to be kissing somebody's behind the entire relationship? Who wants to be trying to earn points all the time as if you don't bring value and worth to the table? And that's what I like to work with people, with helping them to understand their value and worth. And it's a whole technique in that, right? I remember when I used to have fear of people not liking me, things, all that kind of stuff, right? And I remember in high school, it was an underclassman. His name was Daniel Faulkner. Daniel Faulkner. I'm saying his name. And Daniel was smooth. He was a smooth dude because he was getting the women. And Daniel said, he was like a freshman. I was a sophomore, so I was supposed to have my game together. I was supposed to be schooling him. But I was like, yo, dude, like what be going on? Because this and that. And I broke down my situation. And I was like, yo, he was like, yo, man, you gotta be to the point to where you have the mentality that if they leave you, that's their loss. I was like, whoa, that no, it's not their loss because I want them. You know what I'm saying? That was the way that I thought at that time, was that that no, no, it's not. If I that's like gonna push you away. But he had the mentality because he understood his value and he understood that that was attractive. That the women were very attracted to that. And I learned about that, right? And so the thing was is that he had to establish something within him that you know what, and sometimes you got to fake it until you make it. Even if you don't believe it, you got to start walking in it, and you'll be surprised at who gravitates towards you. So understand that because of your value, that's their loss. That's their loss. Um, you have to have that type of attitude and disposition. I remember even when I was dating my wife, um, we got to this friends thing, and we had to have a conversation about that. Because at that point I understood my value and I was like, I'm getting older now. I'm not interested in friends. I said I got a lot of friends already. I'm not interested in that. And so we had to have a conversation like where we moving. You feel what I'm saying? And that was really a big piece in our relationship. We've been married 18 years now. That was a big piece to seal the deal. Some of you all haven't had that conversation. You've been in relationship with what? 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Some of y'all over 20 years. Okay. And not even married to some of these people, right? You're stuck in a relationship because you won't draw that boundary because you don't understand your worth and value. You think that they just came to you to use you, but you don't think that they see something that they're attracted to. Now they are attracted to being able to use you, but that's not the only thing that they're attracted to. Many of y'all, if you really think about it, I mean, I hate to say it, but some of you all are attractive people. You feel what I'm saying? But you act like you ugly. Okay? You're attractive, but you act like you're ugly. And what do I mean by that? Right? So you're attractive, but you don't believe it. So you act like you're ugly. Whether the attraction is on the outside, on the inside, a combination of both, it doesn't matter. Okay. Because when I start to recognize who I am and have confidence in myself, I know that somebody's going to be attracted to me. How, think about in your life, how attractive is confidence? As a matter of fact, most of the people in this group are probably attracted a lot to confidence, but the wrong type. A false sense of confidence that we often see in people who are users, who don't respect your boundaries, who are narcissistic and things of that nature, right? And so we have got to fake it till we make it, and I can tell you when you start that process, people start believing it. The narcissists and the people that you're around that are that you say are using you and things like that, they see the potential that you have, but they're not going to allow for you to know the potential and the value you have because it will take away from their supply. It'll take away from, when I'm talking about supply, I'm talking about it'll take away from them being doped up. Okay. You needing them gives them supply. And you don't want to continue to function in relationships just being somebody's supply, right? So we talked about a few things that are necessary so that I don't have this fear. You got to understand what time we got to end it. What kind of energy you are bringing to the table. Um, you got to make sure that you're not attracting lame people because you're not lame. So if I'm not lame, why am I being attracted to lame people? Because I don't feel like I can have somebody that matches me. You're attracted to them because inside you kind of believe that you are lame. That's why you're attracting lame people. Come on now. This is why you're attracting lame people in your relationships. This is why you're attracting people who use you, whether it's your children, whether it's your family members and things like that, because you think that you're lame. And we're going to keep on talking about that, because when you fix that, that fixes the whole deal, right? Okay. So I need to wrap it up here. Understand what you're bringing to the table. And I think this is the last one we're going to talk about. Find wholeness in yourself. If you are in need of validation, your relationship will act to you as a drug. This is where we get into relationship addiction type stuff that we see a lot with people pleasing codependent, right? So once you get that hit of what it feels like to be loved, you'll do anything to keep it. But that's because you're not whole. There's a void. There's an empty void that you have that is being somewhat uh dealt with by these interactions, but it's not being filled because it's not genuine what you're experiencing. So that's why um some of y'all are always with someone, because you're trying to fill a void. So if you're by yourself, then you get a feeling that, hey, because I'm alone, I'm not lovable, or I'm unlovable, I'm unloved. Okay. And so we start jumping into relationship with the first person that comes up. And guess what we're addicted to? Guess what we're addicted? We're addicted to time and attention. Some of us are fiends for time and attention because we haven't filled that void. That void has to be filled, right? And that's what we help you to do. So the thing is, we got to learn why we're afraid of abandonment. You've got to do the inner work. Ask those questions like I talked about at the beginning of this video. Ask the questions about what do you feel about yourself? So correct that. Learn why you're afraid of abandonment. Rewire the energy that you're bringing in relationships. Alleviate the scarcity mindset. Understand that whatever you bring to the table is not a prerequisite for acceptance. Know if y'all caught that. Understand that whatever you bring to the table is not a prerequisite for acceptance. In other words, because of what I cook good, or because I do this good, or because I can help you here, or because I can do this there, then that is the reason why you should love. No, what I bring to the table is not a prerequisite for acceptance. You need to just accept me because of who I am, because I know I bring a lot that you could benefit from, right? And I don't need to go proving that before we even anywhere in a relationship. You need to be proven to me. Okay, understand that whatever you bring, okay, and that I don't have to earn nothing from you. And I don't know what I meant by that, but anyway, yeah, I don't have to earn my way into the relationship. Fine. um Find yourself to do the inner work. And I'm just going to end here. This is the thing, y'all. Like, some of you all are ready to move forward right now. If you're ready to move forward to just get this done so you can move on with your life, I'm making the altar call. Hit me up. Just put coach in the chat or DM me. We are changing lives with these interventions, and this is just surface. This ain't really nothing. If this impacts you in any way, imagine getting one-on-one with some of our coaches. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but some of you are being moved that it's time for me to make this change now, because I'm already getting up in age here. And like, how much longer do I have to be living life like this? I need an evolution. I need a reverse. I need a correction. And some of you are ready for that. All of our coaches are experienced in this area and other areas as well to help you with this. So if that's an interest of yours, hit me up, drop in the chat, coach, and we'll get with you. I'm going to sign off for tonight. I hope y'all have a good rest of the evening. Until next week, y'all take care. Bye-bye.